Greetings, spiritual family. Spiritual Zay here. Welcome back to another video. Um, I recently went to go see the Forever Purge in theaters. Great movie, great symbols, great foreshadowing of what's to come in the future. And I just wanted to make this video so I can tie in a news clip that was recently released. I need to tie this into the movie and give you guys kind of a perception on how America is coming into an actual Forever Purge and how these things are actually going to be unfolding right before our eyes, and how everything in this so-called American construct is just breaking down. Um, this is the end of America, boys. It really is.
But first tonight, America's cities, they are in crisis. Look at the statistics. They're everywhere. Rape, robbery, assault, murder is skyrocketing. In Portland, the murder rate is up a whopping 800%. In Minneapolis, it's up by a whopping 56%. Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, New York, Chicago, also now suffering through major spikes in violence.
Oh yeah, and by the way, I forgot to mention we are rocking with a new mic. We are rocking with a kind of like a podcast setup right now. Super excited for it. Things should be a little more clear, but let's get into it.
And crime. Now, what do all these cities have in common? One, they are all run and have been for many years. Now,
so as you can see, these are the results from crime 2020 to 2021. Now, we all know 2020 was a fucking crazy ass year. I mean, they pulled the emotional strings of the people all during 2020. I mean, the first fucking day of 2020, they were just fucking with people. Then you seen what happened with all the, the George Floyd incident, and then all the rioting, all the looting and shit like that. So imagine all of that, but just like 5 times worse in 2021.
what do all these cities have in common? One, they are all run and have been for many years by far-left Democrats. Number two, the same Democrats that vilified law enforcement, slashed police budgets, defunding the police, vowing to defund and dismantle as well, enacting soft on crime policies like no bail reform.
So the Biden administration literally vowed to defund and dismantle the police. Now, there's going to be two different sides of this. People are going to look at this like, like this is crazy. Why would they do this? We need the police. Honestly, fuck the police. Fuck everybody who's higher up in this so-called fucking country, America, that's been controlling the people and have been keeping the fucking and have been staying rich off of the fucking poor. Fuck everybody. I'm so glad that this construct is actually coming to a breaking. I'm so glad that shit is going to spiral out of control. I'm so glad that I'm going to be able to, live in a world where there's not going to be fucking slave patrol dressed in fucking blue walking around hunting black people everywhere. So it's going to be amazing. Let's continue.
Refusing to prosecute people that we have video of rioting and looting, involved in arson and other violent criminals. During the summer of 2020, these Democrats, they bent the knee to an angry mob, denied the reality that was playing out before the entire country. In Minneapolis, city leaders allowed a police precinct to be burned to the ground. In Seattle,
they burned the whole goddamn police precinct to the ground in Minneapolis. Now, this was due to George Floyd. But you could just seeing that, you can feel the emotions of the American people. So, like I said, all of that, but imagine in 2021, 100 times worse.
Entire city blocks were ceded to rioters and criminals for weeks. Downtown Portland was lit on fire almost every night for months. And all across the country, police were assaulted with bricks and frozen water bottles and rocks and Molotov cocktails. Several other cities experienced arson, looting on a massive scale. Look at your screen. Scenes like this in Santa Monica, California. They were widespread, looting in broad daylight. In Chicago, New York.
In broad daylight. No one even gives a fuck. They don't give a fuck anymore. It's proof.
Los Angeles, dozens and dozens of storefronts smashed and looted. In Times Square over the weekend, a Marine was hit with a stray bullet. In Oakland, where the city council, where they just voted to
Now, this is like a mini purge, but you can see how it's going to actually blossom into a forever purge. So you can see how it's going to lead up to it, but you can already see the effects of a lawless society happening right now.
defund the police. A gunman tried to rob a camera crew during an
Let me go back on that real quick. Oakland City Council votes to defund police, stripping more than $17 million from department budget.
A gunman tried to rob a camera crew during an interview with the city's crime prevention chief at City Hall. Pretty brazen. A few weeks earlier in San Francisco, another news crew was robbed at gunpoint, again in broad daylight. Take a look.
Damn.
The car came up here while we were about to do an interview. 3 guys jumped out. One had a gun, put it up to my face and said, "We're taking the camera."
Ford, a veteran journalist, said the
Okay, look. It's not even really funny, but it's like, this is the shit that is really happening, and it's gonna get only worse from this. Like, you see news crews getting robbed. I remember in New York, I had seen something about somebody, they actually robbed the goddamn ambulance workers, bro. Like, it's not funny, but it's like, it's kind of like funny, like if you really like think about it, because it's like we knew things were gonna start spiraling into this, and it's just crazy to see it happen.
whole encounter with a Glock in his face took less than a minute.
My
He
whole
put his
thought at
hands
the moment
together.
was, let's be calm. Let's not get this guy excited. He's got the gun. I don't. So you take the camera. It's yours, buddy.
The violence is out of control, and it's happening in many cities all across the country. Instead of cracking down on crime and restoring law and order so we can be safe and secure and pursue happiness, well, police budgets.
We were never safe and secure, and nobody was ever pursuing fucking happiness. The only ones that were pursuing happiness was the fucking elites making money off of the poor. All right? This society has to fall. It is corrupted, and it was built off of straight lies, and everybody knows that. I'm excited about all this news. This news actually brings excitement to me, because I can't wait for this society to break down. Like, everybody needs to know who they truly are, know your true origin and where you truly came from, and this is all just a fucking illusion.
They're getting slashed. Officers are now being restricted. They're told to stand back and stand down. Many criminals who loot and riot and steal, they're not even getting arrested. And most of those that have been locked up, they're just quickly let out of jail. And then all charges, even with videotaped evidence, is dropped. For example, 118 individuals arrested in New York City during last year's looting
Most riot looting cases from last year dropped.
spree. Almost every single case was just dismissed. Tons of evidence. Now, after a year of chaos and violence and mayhem, almost no one in America supports this insane defund the police movement.
No, let's get that right. Almost everybody in America supports this fucking defund the police movement. Nobody ever fucking liked the police. In fact, me and my people have been at war with the police ever since we fucking got here. Or ever since you guys have gotten here, if you really want to be truthful. So, like, no.
Only 18%, according to a recent poll. And meanwhile, a brand new
Fuck the police. The police have never, ever, ever been in good intention for the people. Ever.
Harvard-Harris poll shows an overwhelming majority, nearly 70% of Americans have, in fact, a favorable view of police. According to a Pew poll, minorities, including African Americans, are worried about crime and oppose cuts to police funding. Obviously, these are not good numbers for Democrats that have sat idly by and silent and spent the last year themselves vilifying the police, defunding.
The Democrats, they actually did sit in silence and roll this agenda out. They sat in silence and signed every waiver they needed to sign and made sure that this was rolled out exactly like this. They and they had to give you guys reasons to act like this too, which is why the George Floyd incident, all the shit that's going on the news that pulls at the emotions of the people, they purposely do this to get you guys to react in a certain way. And this is exactly why. Because at the end of the day, they want a World War III. At the end of the day, America is coming into a World War III, whether it likes it or not.
Funding and dismantling. But tonight, the Biden administration, well, they have a bold new plan, they tell us. Unfortunately, that plan has nothing to do with making your cities safer. Instead, the geniuses in the new administration, they're now accusing Republicans. They're saying they're the ones that want to defund the police.
Now you have Democrats and Republicans pointing the fingers, on why this shit is spiraling out of control. But in truth, in all reality, they're all conspiring with each other, and they want all this to unfold just like this, just like a purge. So don't believe none of the shit you see on the news, like with all these people pointing fingers at each other. They all know what's going on. They just have to play the role so that they don't like, because truthfully, they could come out and just unleash the full agenda and let us know what they're doing, but they're not going to do that. They're going to play these roles to keep the American people moving in a certain way, to try to keep your emotions in a certain state. They're trying to get you to react a certain way.
The investment in our communities, which have historically been divested.
One that I'm actively engaged in of our NYPD budget and defunding.
They hit NYPD police force hard as fuck, bro. They hit NYPD police force hard as hell, and that's one of the most dangerous motherfucking places. And they hit their police, bro. I'm telling you, they're asking for backup, and I'm not even talking about around the street backup. They're asking for backup, like more police officers in the state. Period.
A $6 billion NYPD budget.
This model of saying, not only do we need to.
Cities in America, over 1/3 of their city budget goes to police.
So they create the problem. Then they create the solution, which in their term, the solution was to slash and defund the police. And now you have order out of chaos.
So we have to have this conversation. What are we doing?
Remember last year, the Democrats, they wouldn't call riots riots, and the same Democrats never mentioned it at the DNC, all that had gone on last summer. Kamala Harris.
Now Biden, bro. Oh, man. Biden. Like, Biden. This dude, he's a trip.
Wrong,
this dude is a trip. This dude is a trip. Like, the shit that he does and says, the way he just plays with words while he's up there and knowing that he's not really giving a solution to anybody, but just leading the American people on with false hope.
Outright lying. Take a look.
Surplus military equipment for law enforcement. They don't need that. The last thing you need is an up-armored Humvee coming into a neighborhood. It's like the military invading. They don't know anybody. They become the enemy. They're supposed to be protecting these people. So my generic point is that...
Do we agree that we can redirect some of the funding?
Yes, absolutely.
At least he didn't say, come on, man, are you a junkie? Now, just to recap, the radical socialist base of this New Deal Democratic Party demanded that the police be defunded. They did it. Democratic leaders in the House and the Senate, Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, they all agreed. Yep. Local Democrats on the city-state level then ripped billions of dollars out of police budgets.
Look at New York, bro. And listen, it is the close-knit. And this plays a part also with the border on why they're delivering people into these exact cities. They're delivering people in mass loads into these exact cities that you see right here that are spiraling out of control and have problem with their police being defunded and slashed. People are still flooding these cities right now. Immigrants from all over.
New York, Los Angeles, and Minneapolis. That's just a start.
Bro. Just look at the city. Just look how much police officers are out there. There's police on blocks. You can't even drive down the street normally because there's so many police on the blocks.
They reduced the size of their police force. They let violent criminals out of jail. They stopped prosecuting a multitude of very serious...
Court system stopped as soon as COVID hit. As soon as COVID hit, the court system stopped, bro.
Crimes, including violent crimes, and predictably, violent crime is skyrocketing.
To be honest, the whole goddamn system stopped. The whole goddamn system stopped when COVID hit, to be honest.
You want to blame Republicans? Okay, our memories might be short, but they're not that short. And the Democratic Party thinks that we, the American people, must be that gullible and stupid. And at the same time, this is the guy they just put in the White House. Take a look. Thank goodness for videotape.
Please sit down. I once said that
thank God for videotape.
Big crowd, it was in the evening. I said, please sit down. And there were no seats. They were out in the football field. And the press pointed out Biden's losing it. Well, I could see you all had seats. This bipartisan breakthrough is a great deal for the American people. Not just for folks in cities, not just for red states or blue states, but for everybody. The jobs.
What the fuck are you talking about, Biden?
They're going to be created here. Largely would be those for blue-collar workers.
This job, this job, the job. Okay, we've shown you tape from Joe Biden in 2012, 2016. That seem like the same guy to you? You trust Joe Biden with your safety and security? You think he's going to come up with a plan?
Let me come to a final conclusion on this. Let me kind of come to a final conclusion. Let me sum up everything that I'm pretty much trying to tell you in this video. America is coming into a real forever purge. If you guys haven't already seen the movie, I highly recommend you guys to go see it. It is a great movie. It will tell you just how much of a true boiling and animosity that has been truly harvested up in this state, and it'll show you exactly how it's going to unfold. It'll show you the friction between the races, and it'll just show you just a lot. Highly recommend you guys go see it. But yes, thank you guys for enjoying this video. Thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna see you guys in the next. Peace. Purge Tuesday signing up.